It'd be good if you could get some children on here, even though they're adults. But I call them, they still children. But, so they can talk about their part. Like my mother was abused, and this is what happened to me. Instead of me or somebody else saying what their kids are going through, the child itself can say, yeah, my parents was abused. But I think a couple of people did say that. They was asking the chorus. I think it was Vic. Remember, he said he resented his parents for a while. Yeah. Until he heard the backstory, and then he was like, "Oh, now I see why you like that."
He heard their history, and it helped him so much.
Because people do what they know. Kids don't come with no rule book. Okay, you got a little girl. This is what you do.
I'm gonna give it some time to allow people to come on. Yeah, make sure you hit the share button on your page.
I know I am. I'll be sharing everything. I'm y'all PR. Stephanie on there. You can depend on. You ain't got to worry about her not being
there. No. Now the volume is up, so everybody can hear what you're saying. No, it's fine. All right, we want to welcome you all to another episode of Let's Talk with Ro. Now, tonight, we have a guest that has been on here before. She is very familiar, Sandra Wilkes. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
You're welcome.
This is an interesting show because when Sandra came on the last time, do you prefer Sandra or Sandra?
Sandra.
It's Sandra. I just want to make sure. Exactly. I don't call her by government. But when Sandra came on the last time, the show was so intense that people felt like we needed a part two. This is out of all the shows that I've done, this is only the second show that people actually requested a part two. I got so many inboxes from people saying that we wanted to do a part two. So for people that did not catch the initial show, we were discussing domestic violence, and the show took a turn that we didn't expect. When we started talking about, your children, and we started talking about the effects that domestic violence has had specifically on your children and, the relationship between you all, the show just became about not just domestic violence, but the effects that it has on our families. And the last time we talked about how the kids, you talked about how, do you recall?
Yeah.
Some of the things that you specifically said? So tell me just a few things that stood out about the last show.
Well, you would think that it just would affect the victim, but your children, once they get grown or teenagers, it affects them too. And I didn't realize that. You don't think because somebody's doing something to you that it streams down. It affects your family, other family members, and everybody, your friends.
Right. And then we even had, discoveries, not just with you, but other people discussed that they were being abused as an adult and as a parent, but some children were being abused in the same situation. And what was going on is sometimes you don't find out that your children have been abused until they are adults. And at that point, the children are thinking, how did you not know? A lot of children assumed that their parents knew that they were being abused, and it just kind of went unsaid. Yeah. So we kind of rippled into how to prevent that. So, let me see here. And at that point, the children are thinking, give me 1 second, guys. Oh, hey, Stephanie, how are you? That their parents knew that they were being abused, Give me 1 second, guys. I want to get this set up because this is going to be a lengthy show tonight. Make sure you pump your volume down, Sandra.
Oh, okay.
I just want to get some shout outs. Hey, April. Hey, Sister Stephanie. If you didn't hear me, it's good to see you guys. Okay, so tonight the show is more or less, we're not really focusing on what happens when you are in an abusive relationship and what happens to the kids being abused. What we're talking about now is once you realize as a parent that in some people's mind you have failed your kids. You know what I mean? That's normally what's said. If a woman is being abused by a man and she finds out when her kids become adults that they have been being abused too, a lot of times people feel like she has failed them as a parent.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have to say that we have to look at that more than one way because the individual that you were then and who you are now, do you think that those are the two same women?
No.
You know what I mean?
Like definitely not. No.
If you had a young child now, you know what I mean? Is there anything that you would have done differently?
I would. Well, if I knew what I knew today, and I had young children, and it was going, and I was a victim.
Make sure you speak up.
So I would leave. I would just leave. Because last time I discussed why I stayed because of the material things and what I had. I could have left, but I felt like I didn't have anywhere to go, and I stayed for the material things.
Right. And see, a lot of women stay in abusive situations because of the money. And you know, and that is true. It's a comfort zone. And you don't, especially when you underestimate the fact that your kid is getting abused. And that's really the main thing to bring awareness there. If a man will hit you and slap you and rape you, it is a good possibility that he's going to mistreat everybody in the household. You know, so that character flaw right there. Okay, so moving along. Now, in adulthood, you and your children, as a result of these domestic relationships, I believe we said that that was the root of why you guys aren't getting along today.
Yes.
And you know, we see guys that this has trickled on to her kids' adult life, and it's affecting you, your grandkids, because you all basically do not have a relationship.
Nope.
Your son or your daughter, right? So you don't have a relationship with your children at all. And it's like, how do you reconcile that? You know what I mean? How can you reconcile that? Is there a possibility? Is it possible to reconcile these relationships? And if so, how?
Well,
and if not, why?
Well, I'm not going to say it's not possible. Anything's possible. But at some point, I just have to stop trying. Because you can't get two people in a room to have a breakthrough about it if the other person don't want to deal with it. So I can't go. It took me 4 or 5 years to keep apologizing for stuff that I didn't even know about. And see, when it came to my attention, it was out of anger.
Okay, so you have reached out to your children.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you're reaching out to your children and you're saying, we need to talk.
Yeah.
And what is their response?
Well, I don't get a response because they don't respond. They don't even pick up the phone. And if I see, mostly my daughter, I was apologizing to her. And she'll say, okay, I forgive you, just to get me, away from her.
She'll say, I forgive you, but...
Yeah, but that's just to shut me up and let me go.
No connection.
No, no.
Okay, question. Do you feel guilty about the relationship standings currently of you and your children?
Well, at first I did, but I think the more time goes by, I'm not, because I was told by a person that knows kind of like a lot of stuff, I can't hold myself accountable for other adults. If it happened to you then, you should have said something before. Don't put it on social media just because you're angry because I posted I was a domestic violence survivor, and then all of a sudden you bling in and say, well, you didn't say anything when your ex-husband was
blah, blah,
touching me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? So you made it seem like I knew.
Yeah, and the last time we had this conversation, it was interesting to us because the question was, are they acting like you knew, or did they really think that you knew?
Well, personally, for me, raising the person and kind of like know them a little, I think it was just said to hurt me. Because when I left that particular person, the abuser, you continued to still go around them. And you had no reason to. You were grown.
I see.
Yeah. So you still were over there.
But I'm gonna tell you something interesting. I have seen people be abused, even sexually, by a parent. And later in life, I have seen reconciliation take place and they actually have a relationship. Do you think that that's functional or dysfunctional?
I think it's dysfunctional.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that? If a parent, if let's say a father, because in most cases that's what's happening, if a father rapes his daughter and it is ongoing sexual abuse, do you guys think that reconciliation can ever take place? Is it weird for them to ever distinguish forgiveness there and have like they going out to dinner in the movies? That's an interesting question, but I'm being honest. I have seen it happen, and most of the time, the guy is saying that I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't. I was drinking. I had a drug problem in most cases. I don't know. April says she going to jail. Oh my gosh! Right. I get it. Yep. And I said, hey, Mr. Pope, how are you? But yeah, that's where you are. And I understand what you're saying because as a parent, okay, your kids, they're upset with you. They feel like, Mom, you didn't protect me.
Yeah.
And you're saying, I really had no idea. Let's talk about it. I don't see that you should feel guilty about, I mean, we talking about years and years that you are chasing them down and you're trying to reconcile this relationship. I just don't feel like you should feel guilty about it because that's just like misery for you.
Yeah, but like I said, the more time goes by, the better it gets for me. I have to forgive myself. If they don't, I said I'm sorry till I'm blue in the face. If that person don't want to accept it, then that's all I can do. I can't make you play with me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh God. And it's just like, how do you know, or how can you prevent your kids from being abused? Because the truth of the matter is you're not there 24/7. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, when you're in a domestic violence situation, you leaving the kids with their dad, do you think that women should separate if they're being abused physically or verbally, do you think that they should separate that? Like, because I hear a lot of women say things like, well, he's not like that with his kids.
Yeah.
Like, was that something that you used to do?
No.
Did you feel
I didn't feel like I had a reason to. That number one, he wasn't her biological father.
Right.
They had a good relationship, and like I said, the way it came out, and now I've had years to sit back and think about it. It's the way you said it. You just blurted it out. I don't think an abuser would do that. So you tried to hurt me.
Okay, so do you believe she was abused at all? Now we talking about another question.
Personally, no.
Do you think that some kids, because they are hurt by parents, will go to the extreme of lying about being abused?
That's what I think our situation is. Because, like I said, when I left that person for my reasons, you still continued to be at the house. You didn't live there. You had been gone. So if somebody has touched me, so you say when you were a little girl and you grown, and your mother left that person that wasn't your blood, I sure wouldn't be on the same street. is that person lives.
Okay, well, Anton, thank you for your comment. Anton is saying that most of the time the abuse happens when it's a relationship between a step parent and a stepchild. He said the increases of the likeliness is 60%. Um, so do you think sometimes men can be? Because men can be attracted even if they're, let's be real. When we were younger, my grandmother didn't even allow us to sit on people's laps. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was a big deal. Like, and I used to wonder why she was like that. Because as a young girl, I loved my uncles, and and I would run and jump on them in a minute. And my grandmother would say, "Get your down, get down. That's a man." And that, looking back now, I realized what she was saying. Do you think that men, it's difficult for them to have a developed woman around them and not be attracted at all? Or do you think that's just them being trifling?
That's just them being trifling. She said she was 9. But I don't never want to say when somebody says something. That's why a lot of abusers I've talked to, they say, well, I didn't say anything because my mother was going to say it's a lie. So I really don't want to say that it ain't true because I don't know. But I just don't like the way it came out.
And this is the question. And April said men weren't even allowed to bathe them. You got that right.
And you better have full clothes.
Yeah, men didn't. My uncles never put me in no bathtub. Oh no, that was unheard of. And you know what? If you went in front of men without your clothes on, trying whatever, you got your butt whooped.
Oh yeah.
I remember I got whooped for that before because I came out the bathroom running. You know how kids are. You just be running through the house. I got whooped for that, and I was old enough to know. Yeah, and April was saying that it is a sickness, that might have been done to the guy. Sometimes guys are in households where they've been messed with sexually, and sometimes that does trickle down. And you know what, y'all? As much as I hate to admit it, I bet you everybody on this chat right now has had some foolery go on with a family member where they said something when they was drinking, or they did a little touch today and try to act like they didn't know to test your temperature. It's sad. It's really sad how normal this is. Yeah. You know what I mean? But with you and your daughter, how do you know? I mean, because most parents, if their daughter came to them and said that they got raped by a man in the house, I'm thinking that most women will believe what their daughter says. But I watch it on Dr. Phil all the time. There are people that do not believe it.
But if it was presented to me differently, we were close for years. Or so we had the same birthday and everything.
Yeah, you like, why did it come out like this?
On social media, because it was domestic violence month, and I put on it that I was a survivor, and I thought she had blocked me. Next thing I'm reading, and people calling me, you see what, such and such put on Facebook? I'm like, what? So, of course, I reached out and said, what? What you talking about? And then that was it.
And hey, sister, Angie Card, that is my girl right there. Good to hear from you. She said, fear of not being believed keeps people from speaking up. Regardless of our observations, there needs to be a safe place to trust what children say. The people that touched me inappropriately were beloved community members, and that's what keep the victim silent. And so I guess from Angela's perspective, she's saying that your daughter might not have said anything sooner or in another way because she might have thought you wouldn't believe her. Do you think that that's the case?
No.
Yeah, because you and your daughter were close. You guys were having heart-to-heart conversations.
I thought we were close. Obviously, we weren't.
This is an interesting question right here, guys. What do you do? What would you do if your son, because it happens to guys too, if your son or your daughter, you've been with them all this time, and they go back to somebody you were dating when they were a child, and they say they were raping me.
Yeah.
That is, I just cannot imagine. And I think, like, right now, I'm glad Angie hit that because My question is why? What kind of relationship does a child have with a parent to feel like they couldn't speak up? And does it mean you a bad parent, or whether you a good parent or not? You know, does that happen?
Yeah.
Do you think that happens in households even if people are close? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think you've been a bad parent necessarily because your kids don't feel comfortable with saying I've been touched?
Yeah, because I've always been known in her eyes, oh, Ma, you crazy. Yeah, because when her boyfriend of years was abusing her, and me and her friends had an intervention. She looked me dead in my face and said no. But I'm a survivor, so I know you were lying. But after we kept asking, she swore it wasn't. And I was like, okay, let's eat.
And see, a lot of people are saying, "Hi, Sean. Welcome to the show. I don't think I've ever seen you on the show before. Welcome, welcome, welcome." But Sean says that you never know what kind of threats have been made. You know, and that's true. Because if somebody is raping a child in the household, they could very well say, "I'm gonna kill you if you say something."
Okay, so you wait 40 some years later and you put on social media.
You still don't believe, like you just
I'm
like.
just saying.
Yeah, it is really hard for you to believe that your
it's hard
daughter.
for me to believe it because you were in the hurt mode. You were trying to hurt me, so you knew that would hurt me. But I still didn't say I don't believe that. I said call me, but they never did. So to me, you grown woman. If that happened, you should have called me and said, yeah, it did happen when I was 5, 6, 9, whatever the case was.
Wow, Angela said that her mother, um, her mother and her had a great relationship, and she said that she didn't speak up because the person that has done it to you makes you feel like you won't be believed.
Okay, but why did this person, my case, you still went back around after I moved? You didn't live there. So you had no reason to go back to the house. That's
so
why
your issue. So your issue here is your daughter. Okay, so we go all of these years, and you know Sandra and her daughter had a good relationship since her daughter has been an adult. And what happens is they had a falling out, and when they had that falling out, that's when everything was put on social media that she had been sexually abused by somebody that Sandra used to be with. And Sandra's question is, why didn't this come out when everything was good? Yeah. Why did it come out when you're angry? Yeah. And that's what's making it hard for you to believe that it's true.
Especially if I divorced them.
Now, question, this is a good question that I have though. What if your daughter is telling the truth? What would that look like if you found out she was telling the truth? Because do you think that it is a possibility?
It could be. I never said that it didn't happen.
Right. You just saying what it seems
like. It's just when you sit back and you think about how it came out. 40 some years later.
But you know what? Why do you think people?
And she's a personable, not a personal. How you say it? She's quiet. She ain't like me. We born the same day, same time. We night and day. She's conservative. She wouldn't put that out there, but you did. You know why? Because when I said I was a domestic survivor, her father is the one that abused me. So that hit a nerve. So here you have it.
Okay, so if you got, I just want to make sure everybody has clarity here. Sandra, her daughter came to her and said she was abused by her biological father. Is that right?
No, he was her stepfather.
He was her stepfather.
Yeah, but she didn't come to me, remember? She put it on social media.
This is just, it's crazy.
It happened, it was domestic violence month.
So, okay, so what happened here is, so you were with the stepfather, right?
Yeah, for 18 years.
For 18 years, but her father, he was also abusive.
To me, that was my abuser.
Right. So you feel like she got upset because you were talking about her father, her biological father. Yeah. So it was okay for you to talk about the stepfather. But it wasn't okay for you. She just like, no, it hit a nerve when you was talking bad about her dad.
Yeah, because I said I'm a domestic domestic violence survivor. So it hit her nerve. The stepfather didn't abuse me. He was controlling.
I got you.
She knew exactly who I was talking about.
I got you. So
Yeah.
she's like, don't be talking about my father.
You're right.
Okay.
Mhm.
So Angela said that we often suppress bad feelings. My only advice is to believe your daughter and begin the healing. It's her story, not yours, and you can't control how she chose to reveal it.
You're right.
So I mean, this is coming from somebody that has been in, has been abused.
Okay, but you can't. You chose to come out on that platform with it, but you hurt me. You made, if you read it, you would think that I knew. Yeah, you didn't say nothing. That's how it went. I said I'm a domestic violence survivor because somebody else had posted it because it was October, and I said so am I. And then she chimed in and she said, "Well, you wasn't a domestic violence person when your ex-husband was touching me at 9 years old." And I kept reading and I said, "What?" So I don't have a problem how you came out with it, but if somebody read it, they would have thought that I knew. That's the only you implicated me in it.
Right.
Knowing the type of mother I was, if somebody looked at you wrong, I'm gonna go to jail. So she knew I was like that. So why you didn't tell me? But I can't say why because I hold a lot of stuff in. But I'm not gonna go home and put on social media,
But it is just so interesting how much I see people vent on social media.
Yeah.
People reveal some things on social media.
Well, she should have put a post up there and saying she was a sexual abuse survivor. Don't get on my post.
Yeah, your thing is don't blame me.
Though you blaming me publicly. So people reading it going, oh, she probably did know. No, I didn't.
So you feel like that should have been a phone call, like directly to you.
Well, yeah.
Okay. I think that's reasonable.
Don't wait till we haven't spoke for 4 years at that point, and then you want to put all the business out on the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Alyssa is saying that, hey, Ron, hey, Alyssa, Jasmine. Alyssa said that we need to stop pointing fingers. Alyssa said that she feels like it just needs to be a solution here.
Mm-hmm.
How do we prevent this from happening and how do we get the healing rolling?
Yeah.
Because, life is moving. It moves along and, we losing days every day. Yeah. So it's not helping to still be angry and, not working towards the healing process. How do we get around this? And like you said, you can't force your daughter to talk to you. Yeah. And then Sean said that if children witness the abuser providing financially and the living circumstances were different before the abuser came in the picture, I see what she's saying. She probably saying that I'm not sure about that, but I'm guessing that if the abuser was in the picture and they're providing and making your home better, they might not see them as such a bad person. You know what I mean? And from a kid perspective, they like we living better. It's about
we
the
always
money.
have lived good.
Okay.
But her abuser, I don't know why she allowed it, but it's not for me to ask. But her abuser wasn't providing nothing.
Okay, well, you getting different feedback tonight. Like April agrees. April says she feels like that business should have been done privately.
Yeah.
So that y'all could kind of start that healing process, and it might have created a different kind of platform. You know what I mean? Because if you are finding this out on social media, it's like, what?
It just added on to the pile of stuff you already was blaming me for.
Right. And then, like Sean says that what you put on social media that day about, her father being abusive.
I didn't say who it was. I just said I was a survivor.
And listen, that's so funny. Don't make me laugh. But Sean is just saying that things trigger people differently.
Okay. I didn't say who it was. I just said I was a survivor also.
Right. And
that's all I said. I didn't say name and address and social. I could have.
And you know what's so interesting? Because she might have been looking at it like, okay, so my mother's sitting here acting like she's a victim and I'm a victim.
Okay. Well, you should have posted.
I'm a victim.
Yeah, you should have commented also.
Right. Instead of just being nasty.
That's all it was. You were trying to hurt me. My son the same way. He said it happened to him too, by the same person.
Okay. Did your son come out with it around the same time as the show, or did that come out at a different time?
It comes out all the time out his mouth.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So what does it look like for your son to say that he's been abused if it comes out all the time? Does it come out like what does a normal incident with him look like when he's discussing it?
The sun come up.
What?
The sun just come up. And he gonna say it. When he trying to get back at me, he'll text me. He blames me because, it gets dark early. He's an abuser. From all of this, for me being abused, it affected her life and it affected his because she's being abused or have been, and he's an abuser currently right now.
All right, now you guys that are watching, I want to hear from you all. That is the point of the show. I want to hear how y'all view the situation. Like, do you feel like Sandra's daughter was abused? Do you understand Sandra's perspective? How do you feel about her son? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we looking to hear from you guys. Because you saying that your son, whenever he gets angry, and that's kind of similar to your daughter. When they get angry, they blurt out that they've been abused.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. 43 and 36.
Do they talk to each other?
Nope. Haven't had a relationship in years.
It's interesting that they have those similarities.
Yeah. And my granddaughter, his son, one of his daughters, well, he has 9 children, but his oldest daughter, she's depressed and she tried to kill herself 3 times, and she's only 13.
Woo!
Yeah.
If you and your kids, if it was arranged for you, your son, and your daughter to sit in the same room together, and they said that they were going to give you a chance to reconcile, or do you even like the way that sounds? Give you a chance to reconcile?
I'm looking at you, right?
Right.
Well, currently he got 5 open warrants, so he won't be sitting in the room with me.
Okay.
My husband, the current one, Cato Wilkes, said he'll never come to any house that we share. He's threatening to kill me. So if he knocked at this door right now, I'm off the back.
Yeah, y'all relationship is really
it's
like having a relationship
movie.
with a man off the street.
Yes. He talks to me like I'm a piece of whatever.
Okay, so this is my question though. Despite all of that, if somebody said, I'm sorry, if somebody said that you guys could come together, let's say it wasn't any warrant.
Yeah.
You guys could come and sit together. What would that look like? What would you say to your children if you guys came face to face in a room and you are there to heal and to reconcile? What would you say to them? How would that conversation start?
Well, it really wouldn't be a conversation. I would just say, I'm sorry for anything and all the things that you think that I didn't do in raising you and when you became adults. That's all I can say. I don't want to sit down and go, well, remember when you said, and remember, and did he do that? Life is too short. I'm 62. I have MS and lupus. I don't have time to sit. Well, what did he do to you again? Okay, he did that to you because it's your word against the person's, and I don't deal with the alleged abuser. So it's not like I'm gonna call him and say, well, such and such said you did. I don't have time for that. I'm just gonna apologize to them both, and if they choose not to accept it, I have to go on.
And you get so many mixed things in the comments. Thank you guys for commenting. But Stephanie is saying, if they don't forgive you, you gotta give it to God.
And I did that. I'm starting to do it. I do it, then I pull it back.
And then you have, if people that saying hurt kids turn into hurt adults.
And that's what happened. And then she don't have any kids, but he does. Like I said, 9.
So what do you think happened to them as kids to make them act like that? If she wasn't sexually abused, what do you think happened to make her act like that?
Well, nothing. You always had, I must say, the best of everything. You went to private schools. You went to regular schools. You had everything. We were never homeless. When I left her father, he was abusive, so I had to leave, and I just had the 2. And then I went on to the other, the other husband, the real husband. Well, I lived with her father for 11 years, but it's common law. Then when I found he woke up and left him, I went straight to the other one.
Yes.
And he provided a roof, and what we had, it wasn't perfect, but it was a home, a house.
Yeah, Victor. Hey Vic, how you doing? Good to see you. Vic said that everybody processes, the 5 stages of grief. Everybody is really stuck
Hmm.
with the expressions from your son and your daughter, and like just the way, to be honest with you, we don't know what happened to them.
Yeah.
And that is what's so mind boggling right now. And it would be different if you guys were in a different place.
Hmm.
But we don't know what went on with you guys, and y'all relationships are non existent. As a matter of fact, it's just angry.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just so
They're
interesting.
angry, yeah.
It is. And they are the ones that's angry. And it's just, oh God. Like Vic is saying basically that if they are grieving,
Hmm.
there are stages to grief. And sometimes, you grieving, and the goal is to get to acceptance. If you don't know that, then the 5 stages of grief, acceptance is the goal. So somehow, some way, he feels like the kid, I mean, your son and your daughter, they haven't gotten through the grief stage of whatever took place when they were kids. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
well, I'm still grieving too. I'm 62. So I can understand them feeling like that.
And when you grieve, what are you grieving?
Well, I was adopted at 2 days old. Beautiful family. So I don't even, not even gonna talk about that because I was blessed. But I have problems till today with rejection because I feel like in my brain that if my biological mother didn't want me, who's going to? So all my life coming up, I was, trying to please everybody. I had a shape then, a body. So if you look like you wanted it, you have it because that was my way of being accepted. I thought I'm not like that no more, but it took me years to get to that point. But I just feel like, but I don't feel like, why would they feel like that? Even when I left her father and I had my son, they were 7 years apart. I went to another person that could provide. I could have just hung out by myself and got a place and struggled, but I didn't. I didn't go back home. I went straight to the next person. Oh, how much you make? Okay, this gonna work. And it did for 18 years. I dealt with stuff from him because I wanted my kids to have the best of everything.
Now, question: do you think that if you asked your kids, if we would rather, do you think if you ask your kids, okay, you're in this domestic situation, right? So you being abused, right? The kids are seeing this to a certain degree. So do you think if you asked your kids, do you guys want to leave or do you guys want to stay? If mommy leaves, we're not going to have all these nice clothes and shoes, but we will have something. You know what I mean? What do you think they would have chosen?
Well, I don't know. They kids. They were kids, so they probably would have chose to stay because so they could have all the stuff. But not saying if I had left, I would have still had stuff. I could live in a homeless shelter. It's gonna be nice. But I stayed for them.
Some of the guests want to know because you telling your story and some of your history. So people want to know: do you by any chance suffer from abandonment issues yourself?
Yeah, I thought I just kind of like hit on it. Rejection. If you say, "Oh, you can't be on the show next week," I'll be like, "Okay." But I'm getting better with it though, because I want everybody to play with me. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to like Sandra. So if you say, "Well, you can be on the show or you can do certain stuff, but you got to do this," I'm going to do it so you can play with me.
But I'm gonna tell you, that's not always unhealthy. And I'm gonna be honest. I think that everybody feels rejection sometimes.
Well, yeah.
Everybody feels abandoned sometimes, especially if it's a group. And with women, I see it happen a lot with the men, but it happens in other ways too. Like for me, I'm a businesswoman. So if I want to do business with somebody, I see another person that can benefit me. Business. This just happened the other day. I felt some kind of way because I asked somebody for a business card because I witnessed the kind of work that they do, and they told me no. That made me feel some kind of way because it made me feel like, what do you think of me? This person didn't know me from Adam.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I just said the hell with it though. Sometimes you just gotta get past it.
Mm-hmm.
But long story short, I'm just saying that rejection sometimes I find that people we all go through trauma, correct? Everybody on this show tonight has been through some kind of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't like when people go through trauma and they always make you feel like your reactions are unhealthy. Like, okay, I feel rejected about my trauma,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still possible to feel rejected and it be a normal situation to feel rejected. I hope I made sense to you guys right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just like, okay, if I have an anger problem, every time I respond and get angry or something, I don't want nobody preaching to me about what I went through when I was a youngin'.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pissed off because this is something
Mm-hmm.
that pissed me off, and it would piss anybody with a normal headset off. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. But when she gave me away, well, put me up for adoption, whatever. You got to think I had 4 siblings that she kept. So did I look like I was gonna be a problem? Because you kept the other 4, but you got rid of me. And my sister, well, we used to talk. We don't know more, of course. She used to say, well, you ought to be glad she gave you away, blah, blah, blah. And
So
I was
that hold
like,
up, I want to pencil in on that. So why don't you and your sister have a relationship?
that's a whole book.
Give me a.
I want to say it's jealousy.
Woo.
Because when we were together, yet again, I thought we were tight. We loved to shop. We loved the same thing. But it got to be a jealousy situation. And she used to always tell me, why you worried about Ma not? You should be glad she gave you away. But I still want to know who my mother was and who my father was. I knew my mother. She just passed maybe almost 2 years ago now. They didn't call and tell me. I saw it on Facebook. I'm strolling. I said, oh, that's my mother. I cried for 20 minutes, like maybe, and that was it. Because she never acknowledged me as being her daughter. You acknowledge the 2 brothers, which they're currently deceased. So it's just 3 of us left. I don't even know who my father is until a couple of months ago, or years maybe, I found out that my uncle Jimmy is my father. Well, was, he's deceased as we speak. So she slept with her brother, her son-in-law, her brother-in-law. I ain't mad at you. At least I know now who he is.
Lord.
Yeah. So it's been dysfunction since I've been here.
Do you think that you were sent away because of who your father was?
I guess so. Yeah, I'm sure. Because she was good friends with my aunt, that's still living. And my aunt said, well, she wasn't my aunt then, but because I didn't know her. And she said, girl, you pregnant again? And my mother, biological mother, said, yeah, but such and such don't want no more. And she said, well, my sister would love to have a baby. She can't have no kids. And it went from there.
This is all interesting. I'm sorry that happened to you. But something, that stands out is, have you ever wondered, are there any other family members that you have a this kind of relationship with? Is there any other family members that you don't speak to?
I don't talk to none. They don't talk to me.
Okay.
I got cousins. You might be my sister. Because, like I said, when I found out Uncle Jimmy is possibly my father, because my oldest brother told me that that's who my father was. He's no longer here. He passed away.
All right, look, this is good right here. Oh man. What do you think would happen if I think about my family, right? It's a lot of us. Mm-hmm. And this is no comparison because where I come from and where you come from is different. Mm-hmm. Now, my family is tight knit. Mm-hmm. If I came and told my mother, that somebody had raped me, mm-hmm. It's gonna be hell over high water. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's gonna be some interesting situations going on. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's gonna be some sounds made. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, what do you think it would be like if you admitted to your daughter, if you told her that you believed her? Do you think that would change the dynamics of things?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Because I feel like if you talk to me for me to tell you that, I think I would just be saying it. Guess what? to get you to talk to me. You get it? Yeah, he did it. I believe you. And then I figure she'll, release it, and then you can. be
Would you
friends
say it
again.
like that?
Well, I ain't gonna know. I don't know how I would say it, but I feel like if I said it to her, if she would allow me to, I would just be saying it so she could be my friend again.
We got some things going on in the chat. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
Sean
Lord.
said, no, it's all good. Sean said that she is like taken back because she said her mother went through the exact same kind of abandonment issue as you did. Thanks for sharing that and being
Well, what's her name?
transparent.
Because she could be one of my sisters. I mean, I'm just saying.
But Sean said that her mother was taken away from her mom because her grandmother got pregnant by an uncle. So her grandfather is her uncle too. So it's just an interesting thing right there. And Angela Carr said that, do you think by any chance that the issues that transpire in your life are causing the currency of the relationships with your kids? You do?
And it's trickling down to my grandchildren. I have 9 of those by my one son. And I can't see but 2 of them. Because their mothers want him. He don't want them. He don't take care of none of them, let's say that. But they don't want me around. So the 14-year-old I was just telling you about just tried to kill herself 3 times. I haven't seen her in 5 years. We used to be like this. So the only 2 I can see are my other 2. I can see them. So out of 9 grandkids, I only get to see 2. So the whole thing is dysfunctional.
It is. It's a ball of dysfunction. And you all, the point of the show, the reason why Sandra and I have done the show is because regardless of who is right, especially when focusing on you and your kids, regardless of who is right or wrong, the root of all of this is dysfunction and hurt, and everybody is hurt. And the results are you not having a relationship with your kids. And in my mind, I just wish I had Oprah money so I can just be like, we're flying them out and we're getting you all in the same room.
Now let's talk about, I have 2 twins too. They're 34 years old. They're disabled. They live with the ex-husband. I haven't seen them since 2008. We have joint legal custody. But he would tell you, no, they took her from him. No, they didn't. I have it in black and white. We have joint legal custody. But when they were smaller, if it was my weekend or whatever day to get them, of course I go get them. They weren't there. So who will run to PG courts every other weekend? Well, he wasn't there because basically it got to be his word against mine.
Okay.
So like I said, the last time I saw them, and they're 34 right now, was 2008. I had to fight to get into their graduations.
Oh, well, Angela said that despite all, she is grateful to God where you are today.
Yeah.
Yep, and God is merciful and gives grace.
Yeah.
That's the point. And
because God blessed me with 5 children. At 13, I had a daughter. She would have been 47 in June. She's been deceased for 23 years. So we didn't have a relationship until she was at the aftercare teaching my twins because they disabled, so they went to a special place. And years later, we were close, real close. And then I found out she was my daughter. Okay. But I knew I had a daughter, but when her mother told me, it wasn't a shock to neither one of us. And then she died a year later. So that relationship, of course, she's deceased. And then the 43-year-old one, I thought we were close, thicker than thieves. Even though she was quieter than me and she wasn't, if I was loud, mother, and she was all conservative. You know me, I don't have no filter. But I still thought we were close. You saw us in church every Sunday. She stopped coming to the church because of me after, the incident happened.
This is wild. Yeah. So question, do you have any family members or friends that you have good relationships with?
No. My current husband is my family.
How you feel about that? I'm so sorry. I gotta get you some tissue, babe. You need some tissue?
No, but
How
no,
does that make you feel?
it just
Take
hurts.
your time.
It just hurts me because I grew up the only child, mother, father, picket fence where we had hedges, and the dog, and that's what I always wanted. And I always said when I was a younger girl, I want kids because you can't take them from me. And look what happened. Out of 5, I have none.
Yep. So it with your family and and things like that, if you reached out to any of your family, you don't think that they will receive you with open
You
arms?
mean the blood family?
Anybody?
No. And all my aunts that I grew up with, they're gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a different sense of loss right
Yeah.
there.
It's like you're in the world by you just left by yourself. Yeah, Cato's my family, but he's not blood. He's my husband. Even my grandkids. When I see people post their grandkids, I can only post the 2 I can see for now.
Yeah.
But I really got 9, and probably more. He's just going around making babies. Don't take care of none of them. And that makes it hard for me because I can't see them.
April, and people in the comments, they like, we here for you.
But
your COH family love you.
I know, and that's
but April, what's interesting here is because your longing, your desire was to be close to your blood family.
Yes.
Not saying that you don't appreciate your extended family.
Yeah.
I understand, but I cannot imagine not being connected to anybody like in my blood family.
Yeah. I have 3 goddaughters. They're gone. They're not deceased, but they don't deal with me. I guess she got to them. So when I talked about you, I said, that's my goddaughter. I guess I'm just tired of saying that's my goddaughter. I call April's daughters my daughters. They're not. Why should Sandra have to say, oh, that's my goddaughter, that's my daughter? They're not. When I got enough. But I can't say that. I mean, I can say that's my daughter. But this is 6 Mother's Day coming up that I never haven't gotten a call from those 2. I say those 2 because the other 2, they're disabled. So they can't call.
They can't call.
So, and the other one is deceased. But the 2 that are living and walking and whatever, this be the 6 Mother's Day. Birthday, we share the same birthday. You didn't even call me. You didn't text me. I texted her, but I was blocked. So it came back.
And it's so interesting because when I conversate with you and I listen to you, you are so hurt about this.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes out, you can get aggressive. You're not sad. For you to bust out crying, that's a shocker to people when they hear how firm you speak about the situation. But the truth is, you're so upset because this really bothers you and it has hurt you. But the truth of the matter is, all you can do is what you can do.
Yeah, because at first, was a time years ago, maybe just last week, Kato would always say, my favorite word is F you. Oh, you don't want to talk to me? F you. And he said, that's your defense mechanism. But now I don't say that because I'm trying to, but I can't keep running up to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Dr. Nancy said, stop it. Don't you do it again.
Yeah.
And I said, well, Dr. Nancy, that's my daughter. She said, so? She's barred. God loans us our children. He either takes them by death, which he did, one of them, and the other 2 are just gone. But it hurts me to know she lives right where I live at now. Not in the same earth, but right in the, not walking distance, but like 10 minutes away. And when I see you in public, you look at me like I'm a piece of.
So you actually run into your daughter in public
Yes.
sometimes? Are you serious?
Yes.
So what does that look like? You walk in Walmart and she's in Walmart with you.
And I walk up to her like a little idiot and I go, you want to talk? Look, I get to look like, no. And I said, you sure? And she says, no, and walks away.
That is bizarre.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine.
Yeah. And then I go off I did that with my mother, my biological. I used to see her in Walmart every Friday. And when I see her, she didn't acknowledge me. So I'm over in the corner, like a little 2-year-old, wanting her to see it's me. She saw it's me because you were standing in my face, but she never would acknowledge me. And then the last Friday that I was in there, I didn't see her. I was like, woo, she ain't here. Little did I know she had died the same day.
What?
She got up to go to Walmart and hit her head, and that was it. But I didn't know. I'm over in Walmart scared, thinking she gonna be in there. But she laying across the street in the hospital, deceased. They didn't tell me. I read it on Facebook.
Yeah, I really am. It saddens me to hear about people that are hurt by not having, what I'm saying, connections with their family.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that you can identify that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you understand it, but it's like it's just one of those things.
Now, don't get me wrong. I appreciate like you said, my COH family, my other families, people. And that's what my husband drills in my head. Well, you got this. You need to appreciate what you got, blah, blah, blah. But you can say that because guess what?
He got his.
Your father's deceased, but you knew who he was. You lived with him. Your mother, you got two mothers, matter of fact. So it's easy for me to say, roll, girl, go ahead. Because I can tell you that. That hurt is masked. I walk around, people say, how you feel today? I'm fine. I'm fine. But I'm not. But I know everybody got issues. But come on now. But like I said, I finally learned you can't make another adult say and do what you want them to do. I could say, let's do an intervention and get, like you said, both of them healed. Just one, her. It ain't gonna happen. Because the hurt has been so long, if you knocked at my door today and say, Mom, I'm sorry. And I go, okay, I'm sorry too. I think I would shut the door because you've done so much. It's more than she done just for what I said. Oh, we could be here all night. It's more stuff she's done.
Do you think that she feels the same way?
I think at this point, if she wants to reach out to me, madam, she's labeled me as being crazy always. Because everybody says, girl, you crazy. Yeah, okay, I am. But I think she wants to, but she's scared. But I think I'm just making that up. She might just be done with me.
Wow. Well, I cannot believe an hour went by that fast.
Yeah, I can.
I mean, oh my goodness, y'all. Tonight, that was a great show. And Sandra, I'm always so grateful to have you on the show. And I don't know who don't love you, but I do. I'm crazy about you. You my girl.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I think that, one thing that I've noticed, you all, it's very interesting to get to know people and their history, and to know where people come from, because it helps us to understand people more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, people are not what they seem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People look at me, oh, you don't have lupus. You can't have all that. Look how you live. Look what you do. Okay.
You just don't let it keep.
Open me up. And it's killing me. Trust me, it is. But I'm not going to, if you call me tomorrow, Mom, what you doing? Girl, I'm sitting here, my head hurt, my back hurt. I'm be like, no, what's up? Where we going? Because eventually you're going to stop calling if I keep complaining about, well, I ain't talked to my daughter in 2 years. Don't nobody want to keep hearing that. Don't nobody want to keep hearing it. So I keep it in. But I just want to come on here because I know it got to be somebody that's listening that's going through the same thing.
Yep.
And you asked me early before we got on, how did you get past it? Was that what you asked me? How do you get through it?
Yeah, how do you get past it?
You don't. You don't.
How do you get past your kids not talking to you?
You don't. Every night when I roll over and go to bed, my husband works at night, so I'm by myself a lot. I roll over and I just pray for both of them, well, all of them. And that's it. That's all I can do. That's all I can do.
Wow.
But they say, be careful what you ask for, you might get it. She might sit here in an intervention and blow my head off with all the stuff that may have happened that I didn't know about. But I just ask, I'm gonna believe you, but just don't put it out there like you did. And that's what makes me wonder. I don't think that happened.
Yeah, don't talk to everybody else. Come talk to me.
Come talk to me. Because you still, like I said earlier, you still dealt with that person.
And I don't think that's too much to ask.
Yeah, I just, But like you said, or Angela, somebody said, I can't fault that person for how they wanted to put it out. Somebody could be thinking the same thing about me. Why is she on this live talking about all of that? Why? Because I wanted to reach somebody else.
Yeah, you trying to help somebody.
I'm trying to help somebody else.
Well, I sure appreciate you, and I hope that what she's saying, and how she's sharing and being transparent about her story is helping somebody tonight. And that's a wrap for us tonight, you guys. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for everybody's transparency. Tonight was a heavy show. This was a deep show. Part 1 was heavy, and so was this one. We cry every show. Yep, but you guys, I'll see you here next Monday at 7 for another episode of Let's Talk with Ro.
Bye.
Yep. That was a good show.
Goodness.
Girl.